Okay, so one thing that we need to normalize, men getting their nails done. Like, I don't understand why it's a feminine thing. Like, we got nails. If you want to be able to put tips on them and put some cool designs, you should be able to and not thought anything about you. Like if you think my nails, my hands look weird, you're weird. Like, and I guarantee you there's so many men out there be like, man, I want to get my nails done so bad, but I'm so scared of X, Y, and Z. Bro, just do it. It's cool. Like, this shit is dope. Stop being a hater, bro. Like, just stop.
Yo, I mean, it's not even funny on like a troll level. And unfortunately, I don't even believe that he's trolling. I think that he's honestly being for real. And we got to start managing our expectations appropriately. And that there's a lot of guys that's honestly trying to come out. They don't want to be looked at as feminine. They don't want to be looked at as less than masculine. They don't want to be teased and none of that stuff. And we live in an era where, yo, if you want to be super liberal, if you want to paint your nails, if you want to wear the little necklace with the butterfly on it, or if you're looking to get attention, you're going to find it. You're going to find it. And so now that he's found this level of attention, I think that we need to address it because there's never been anything cool pretending to be a woman. We just had this conversation on After Hours, right? Where I fought tooth and nail for Tyler Perry. And part of it is just that, you can't have everybody agreeing 100% of the time. You got to look at it from all angles. And when I looked at it from every angle, I said that I actually think that Tyler Perry was cool, that he was awesome, that I actually rock with him because the impact that he's had as far as, giving people jobs and creating a whole economy and building itself up from nothing and all of this stuff, I stood 10 toes down. Even though I don't necessarily care for all of his movies, I don't necessarily care for all of the movies of a lot of the different producers and people that produce movies. I don't have to support every single thing, but I can also acknowledge two things at one time. But guess what people couldn't get over? Guess what the majority of the panel had a problem with? The fact that Tyler Perry regularly wears a dress, and then you start seeing how he was dancing on the BET Awards, and then you seen how he was dancing at the BET concert, and it's hard for me to defend something like that because I don't agree with that being a cultural norm. I don't agree with men putting on dresses. I don't agree with grown men slinging their hair back and forth. I was like, I don't agree with that. Now, I do think that there's a set of feminine men that pretend that try to be more masculine, and they may not necessarily be gay, and that's an entirely different conversation. But this is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. Some people are gonna say, Anton, what do you mean by a group of men that tend to be a little bit more feminine, but or I guess more or less labeled feminine by the general public? Because nowadays everything that's not super Hulk and super masculine is gay. I think that there's a group of metrosexual guys. Metrosexual, from what I understand from way back when, means that guys that tend to take care of themselves a lot better than what a normal guy would. We used to rough and tough and, guys going to work, and so they don't necessarily have a whole lot of time, to spend grooming the same way that women do. But there is a set of guys out there that spend an extraordinary amount of time on a look. And I think that that's cool. Whatever it is that you want to do, that's cool. I don't advocate for super feminine and femininity overtaking masculine spaces, though. I just don't. I think that there's a line that you have to cross. There's a difference between having well manicured nails and actually having designs and pink and butterflies. There's a difference between a guy actually wearing a chain and you wearing a butterfly as a pendant. You know what I'm saying? And then they try to spice it up by, and I don't know if this guy is white. I don't know what these people are no more. People identify as whatever it is that they want to identify as. I don't know if this guy is white or what, but they try to spice it up with the face tattoos and the tattoos on the arms and stuff like that. And I'm just not going, bro. Honestly, if you ask me if this guy was sassy, if you ask me if this guy was swinging for the fences, if you ask me if he was on the other side of the fence, I would tell you yes, because that's the only logical conclusion that we can draw. They keep trying to normalize this nonsense, and we just not going for it. We not normalizing it. We not rocking out with it. We not going to pretend like It's something that we embrace. It's not something that our sons and our nephews and the men that's coming up behind us, it's not something that they should embrace. And I want people to understand the difference, right? I say that people could do what they want to do, but I don't necessarily agree with it, right? I believe that in America, for the most part, you got the freedom to kind of rock out with whatever lifestyle that you want to rock out with, as long as it's not illegal. But again, I don't believe in making it something that's forced on everybody else. If you want to be sassy in your own home or whatever like that, cool. But that don't mean that we have to necessarily have drag reading to our children in elementary schools. It doesn't mean that we need to have them reading to our children in libraries. If you want to go out and live this alternative lifestyle, cool. But that don't mean that you can go into women's bathrooms. And it's a slippery slope that we see happening in society. They keep pushing it on you and pushing it on you and pushing it on you. And what happens is they tend to normalize it because now that's what the standard is. We don't have any standards. We don't have any cultural norms anymore. Everybody is doing what they want to do, and everybody can get on the internet and promote it. And then eventually they find a tribe. When they find a tribe, that's when they start to feel empowered. When they feel empowered, all they got to do is start breaking you up into individuals instead of having you stand collectively against something that we're not for. And then that's what you start to see stuff get normalized. Things that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I could have never dreamed in my wildest lifetime that we would be standing here advocating with rainbow flags that is being perverted. And that's not the original intention of what it was for in the Bible. I never thought in my wildest dreams that we'd be standing in here defending rainbow flags and having that associated with these protests in LA and Chicago and Seattle and all across the United States of America, and this agenda that's being pushed. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that what would be a political issue is things that people should normalize. And I would see our gymnasts and Simone Biles and stuff like that, and they're the ones that's over here pushing this agenda that men should be competing in women's sports. Never in my wildest dreams did I go think that I was going to go to a Miami airport, fly in, and then see a grown ass man walk in the same bathroom as my daughter, and then I gotta make sure that I call my daughter out of there because we're not having that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, what people think is normal and what people are normalizing, we just shouldn't go for it anymore. We shouldn't. I don't think that people should attack people. I don't think that, people should do anything negative to somebody. I think everybody need to keep their hands to themselves, and that's where the balance is. But we not gonna give it visibility. And unfortunately, there is a segment of people that want to promote it, that embrace it, that think that this is cool, that think that this is right, and they are gonna continue to push it. And so it's up to you. It's up to us to call this shit out. I know they're looking for attention, but we got to give them the right type of attention. We can't just give them the attention that they want. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. And I'm always going to link back to the content creator regardless of whether I agree with him or not because it's the right thing to do. I don't like this, man. I just genuinely don't. It's just weird to see grown men acting like this, to see grown men saying that we should normalize this. And again, I don't even care if you trolling or not. Just it's some stuff you just don't cross the line on. For me, it's weird. For me, it's crazy, and I'm not feeling it, bro. I'm not. It's bothersome. You know, it's evil. I think it's demonic, and I think that it sets the wrong example for the people that comes after us. I love you. I appreciate you. I want to know what y'all thoughts are.